around.
Given up for adoption for a better life in Minnesota.
It's the hardest decision that she had to have ever made.
One man's emotional search for his birth mother until he found her in an unlikely place.
We'll share the emotional journey next.
Minnesota is home to thousands of Korean adoptees.
Tonight we're sharing the amazing journey for one Minnesota man searching for his birth mother. She gave up Jon Huston for adoption 37 years ago in Seoul, Korea.
After a decade of searching, he turned to a very surprising modern-day method, and Susanna Song tells us his life will never be the same.
Was it cold out?
Yeah. It's a warm feeling for the kids to see Dad home so early.
Your glasses are fogging up.
Jon Huston is usually at work.
Here, take your glasses.
When his daughter Julia and son Tommy come home from school.
What'd you do in school today?
But today, no work. It's all family time.
Tommy, you got homework.
Open and eat.
Their home is in Buffalo, Minnesota, where both Jon and his wife Carrie grew up. 11 years ago, when Julia was born, Jon felt something tug at his heart.
That was when I started thinking about my mom.
Jon was just 6 years old, the same age as his son, when he last saw his mother.
Being so young, I really didn't understand what was going on.
Jon's father was an American soldier who met his mother in Korea, then died in the Vietnam War. His mom was too poor to raise him, so she gave up her only child.
It's the hardest decision that she had to have ever made.
Jon was adopted by a Minnesota family in 1971. Since then, Minnesota has become home for 13,000 Korean adoptees, the most in any one place in the world.
That was the highest social service medal.
Social worker Hyun-Soo Khan says she placed them here because Minnesota was one of the most progressive states for adoption.
Minnesotans are very accepting.
Still, in Minnesota, Jon felt like an outcast. Kids made fun of his eyes and dark hair. It all changed in 4th grade.
A 4th grade teacher that was probably the best teacher for me, and he really helped me deal with it and supported me.
From that point on, he began making friends and learned how to hunt, fish, and play hockey. In high school, Jon was on homecoming court and later met his future wife. His life seemed complete. At least, that's what he thought. Until he held his daughter for the first time.
For a mom to give up their child, it's probably the most love that they could absolutely do.
For 10 years, Jon searched for his birth mom, but no luck. Then his search took a very strange 21st century turn. You won't believe where. He appeared from his home in Buffalo via webcam on a reality TV show in Korea.
What I'd like to tell my birth mother, I need to do this for her sake. I wanted to ease her mind. When my mother, I didn't want her to go, to her grave thinking what happened to her son.
I flew over to Korea and quickly learned this show is a huge hit. These women say their hearts break when they see adoptees on the show searching for their roots. This is a common street in Seoul, Korea's capital city, where millions of people live. Jon Huston never imagined his one debut on a Korean show would change his life forever. 7 days after it aired, Jon's mom was found.
I didn't get any sleep that night. After I confirmed that they were 100% sure that this is her, I was so emotional. I mean, I cried.
On October 14th, Jon came back on the show.
So can you call your mom now? Several times and she will be here.
Yes.
All right.
Uma.
Oh.
Uma.
One more time.
Uma. Uma.
She's coming now.
I looked at the entry where she was coming in, and I'm like, there she is. I couldn't believe it. All of a sudden she starts walking.
Do you see her, Jon?
In a trembling voice, Jon heard his Korean name called for the first time in 37 years.
홍수야 보고 싶다.
She said, oh, Hongsu, I miss you really. I miss you really. Miss you a lot.
미안해.
I'm sorry for you, Hongsu. I miss you a lot.
I miss her too. Here she was on Korean TV with baby pictures of me. And I told my wife, I said, I have baby pictures.
She looked at those pictures every day.
She lived by herself, and that was really hard for me to hear that.
See you later. Bye-bye, Hongsu.
Their time on the show was brief.
Bye-bye. See you later. It's Mom.
I feel that a piece of my puzzle is finally together.
On December 30th, 2008, Jon will reunite with his mother in Korea, exactly 37 years to the day he left.
It's just one-on-one, person-to-person. That's where I think everything's just gonna...
He can only imagine how sweet it will be. Susanna Song, 5 Eyewitness News.
Jon has promised to share what we can only expect to be an amazing reunion. You can log on to Susanna's blog for updates, and tomorrow morning she's going to be digging deeper into the background of Korean adoptions and certain prejudices that date back to the 1960s.
Beautiful story.
Absolutely.
It is one of the